Let's try one more quick dungeon dive. Let's reveal our first card, which is Ambush, which says shuffle D6, so a roll of a 6-sided die, monster cards from the discard pile back into the dungeon deck. Fortunately, we haven't defeated any monsters yet, so we don't have anything to shuffle back. If we were, always shuffle from the top of the discard pile. Looking at the next card, we have an enemy monster. So damage on this one is 4+, so we need to roll a 4 or better to deal 1 damage, and they hit us back for 2 strength. Alright, it's a hit, so they're down to 1 health. They then hit us back for 2 damage, bringing us down to 18 health. Let's roll again and hopefully defeat them. We rolled a 5, so the monster is dead. Once they're dead, apply any effects that they might have after defeating. And we have another monster. This one is a little weaker with only 1 strength and 1 health, and 3 or better rolling to hit. So we roll a 4. It is immediately destroyed. And if you notice the rules, it has an extra effect after battle. We can roll a dice, and then on a roll of a 6, we roll on the items table. Unfortunately, we did not roll a 6. But in case you do find an item, the hero cards tell you what the rolls mean at the bottom. So you would roll a d6 when you find an item, and on a roll of 1 through 4, you would get a potion. On a roll of 5, you would get a bomb, and on a roll of 6, you would get a key. Let's take a chance to also mark up our starting items while we're at it. Okay, let's keep going. Next, we have the card Harem, which you regain back to full health. So we go back up to 20. Not all dungeon cards are necessarily negatives. Sometimes you want to shuffle some of the discarded decks back into the main deck for advantages. Okay, next card gives us an option. So for the leper, we may discard a potion. If we can, we will subtract 1 from our attack rolls for the next d6 battles. Let's take a shot and see if we could survive it. We will subtract 1 from the next 5 battles. So let's use a counter to keep track of that. Okay, this next one is an interesting creature because it might depend how many bats try to attack you. As you look, the health, aka how many bats are a d6. So you would roll and see how tough this monster is. It looks like we have 4 bats to battle. Thankfully, they're pretty easy to hit at 2+, but remember, for the remaining 5 battles, we subtract 1, so they would take a 3 or better to hit. So let's start rolling. We roll a 3, which is good enough to get them down 1 health. They will hit us back, and we will go to 19. Let's roll again. A 2, we miss. They hit us back, and we go to 18. Rolling again, we miss. We will go to 17. Next hit is a hit. They go down to 2 and hit us back to 16. We roll a 6, bringing them down to 1 health, and they hit us back to go to 15. Let's hope we knock them out now. And we do. So bats are defeated. Now before moving to the next card, we could potentially, if we're low on health, use one of our potions as an item, but I think we're doing okay for now. Next, we roll another monster card. They're really piling up. Remember, we still have 3 more rounds of lower dice rolls. Therefore, our usual roll of 2+ would be a 3 or better. Roll a 2, so we miss. We go to 14 health. Alright, a 3 or better. Having only 1 health, we defeat the goblin. Raise the alarm. This card says to reshuffle the deck and place the boss card on the bottom. They found us out. So what you do in this case is you look through the deck to find the boss. Put it to the side, shuffle the deck, and put the boss card on the bottom. He's obviously onto us. Hopefully, we could use some of the other shuffle effects in order to bring him back towards the top. Alright, we have another enemy. And this one might be kind of bad because the damage roll would be 4+, which would mean we need 5 or better and they have 2 health. Instead of using our usual attack, let's use a bomb to deal 3 damage and knock him right out. So we'll use 1 bomb, deal 3 damage, and finish him off. Alright, another monster. So this will be the last time that we have to use the affected rolls from the leper. We're starting to feel better. So we're going to need a 4 or better to knock him right out since he has a health of 1. And we do. And it says, when defeated, we get to roll once on the item table. So again, on a roll of 1 to 4, we'll get a potion. On a 5, we'll get a bomb. And on a 6, we'll get a key. And we roll a 6, so we now have 2 keys, which would be helpful if we run into cards where we need to unlock rooms. Okay, we now have another monster. We have a succubus. Thankfully, we no longer have attack modifiers, so a 3 or better will deal 1 damage. We miss. They hit us back for 1 strength to go down to 13. Or again, a 6. They're down to 1 health, and they'll hit us back to go to 12 health. Alright, a 5. So we defeat the succubus. This is good because we're really plowing through these monsters, meaning there's less of them left in the deck, but we keep running into them. So here's a disturbed spirit. They take a 4 or better to deal 1 damage. We miss. They hit us back for 2 strength, bringing us down to 10. Let's roll an attack again. A 5. That's great. They're down to 1 health, but they will hit us down to 8. Let's see if we can knock them out. A 5. Perfect. And now, before going to the next card, we can use an item. Being that we're at 8 life, we should use a potion. So we'll go down 1 potion, and we'll gain 5 health, putting us back up to 13. Let's flip the next card over. Great, we have a use for our keys. The treasure room says that we may use 1 key for D6 rolls on the item table. So let's go down 1 key to unlock the room. Now we'll get up to 6 rolls on the item table. And we get 4. Amazing. Let's roll. Get 4 rolls. First roll. Hit a 5. Perfect. That's a bomb. Second roll, down to 3, will be a 3. That's a potion. Go down to 2 rolls left. And we get another potion. This is really good. We're stocking up for later. And for our last roll, we roll a 3, which is another potion. I think we're doing great. Let's use one of those potions before moving forward to go up to 18th health. Next card is a floor collapse, so we lose D3 life. What D3 means is that we'll roll a D6, so a 6-sided die, and divide it by 2. So we roll a 1 divided by 2, rolling up is a 1, so we will take 1 damage. Alright, a necromancer. So on this one has additional rules. So on a roll of 1, we will search the dungeon deck for a zombie card, and then we'll put it on top. Let's not take any chances and use a bomb to finish her off. Next card is Miners. It says we get D3 bombs as they try to help us move forward. Those are very powerful items, so let's hope we roll high. We roll a 3, which will mean we get 2 bombs. So we now have 3 bombs. Okay, Braziers. So here we will immediately take 2 damage, bringing us down to 15. And then there are further rules, which say that we roll a dice, and on a roll of 1, we take 1 damage for the next d6 turns. So let's hope we don't roll a 1. We roll a 6, so we're safe. Okay, shortcut. So we can look at the top 3 cards of the dungeon deck, and we may discard 2 non-boss cards from those. Just as a reminder, on things that affect the dungeon deck and can put stuff into discard, we can never discard boss cards. So let's look at the top 3. So we have an assassin, which we don't really want because they're very hard to hit. So let's discard her. And then we have tracked and trapped, which is also negative, and we don't want that. And we'll keep the strange fountain on top. So strange fountains makes us roll a d6. On a 1 to 3, the water's refreshing and we regain all our life points back. But on a 4 to 6, the water's tainted and we feel weakened and lose 2 life. Let's hope we roll low on this one. And we do. 3 means we go all the way back to 20 health. Alright, this is an optional enemy. It's a Sleeping Ancient, which is a card that is a dungeon card but can turn into a monster card. So we'll roll a die, and on a roll of 1, this ancient idol will come to life and attack us. Let's hope we don't roll 1. And we're good. So the Sleeping Ancient stays sleeping, and we keep moving forward. Alright, the Shifting Maze. We shuffle d6 cards from the discard pile back into the dungeon deck. Again, when we shuffle things back in, we always do it from the top card. This is good because we know right now that the boss monster is all the way at the bottom. So while it's not great to shuffle some enemies and bad cards back in, it'll help us try to flush them back to the top. So let's see how many cards from the discard pile we shuffle back in. 3. So we take the top 3, so Sleeping Ancient, Strange Fountain, and the shortcut, which is good, and we will shuffle the deck. Alright, then we discard the Shifting Maze. Let's see what's on top. We got Ruffians. So we roll a d6, and let's hope we roll low because we don't want to lose all these amazing items we have. A 2. While not ideal because we take 2 damage, it means we get to fight them off and keep the rest of our items. We have the Obelisk of Power. This is a positive thing. We get to add 1 to the attack rolls for the next d6 enemy cards. Adding 1 to the attack roll means that if we need a 3 or better, we need to roll a 2 or better. So let's see how many bonus strength we get. So for the next 3 enemies, we get a bonus to our rolls. Keep in mind, a roll of 1 when fighting enemies always fails. So an enemy that already needs a 2 or better to hit, the Obelisk of Power will not improve your rolls any further. Okay, we have the Oracle next, where we look at the top d6 cards and then discard all but 1. Again, the boss card may not be discarded this way. So let's see how many cards we get to look at. We get to look at 4. So we have the manuscripts, which is great because we can leave that to the side and discard one card we don't want to fight that's not a boss at any time. Let's discard the Harpy enemy because we don't want to fight her. We can discard the Dead End, which causes us problems and we don't want to waste a bomb on it. And then we have a decision. The other card leaves us the Merchant, where we could choose either to just get one item, and then after we choose one item, we can also exchange any number of items for other items. For example, if we have a glut of keys, we can exchange them for bombs. That's pretty good since we have a lot of keys right now. Let's choose the Merchant. So discard the Oracle, and then our next card will be the Merchant. Let's exchange all of our keys into bombs, and then choose one other item of our choice. No rolls needed. So let's do one more potion just to be safe. Right, next card, Burial Chamber. Roll a d6. On a roll of 6, you get one item roll. Let's see if we find anything in the Burial Chamber. Fortunately, we don't. So discard, and let's move on to Evil Presence. So we search the dungeon deck for the boss card, reshuffle it, and place it bottom of the deck. That's unfortunate. Just as an aside, in case your deck runs 2 bosses, you find one of the bosses of your choice and put that on the bottom. The other one remains shuffled in. The boss happened to already be on the bottom. So let's put him on the side. Make sure we shuffle the deck. And he goes right back into hiding at the bottom. This is good because this is actually quite a lengthy run. So here we have a zombie. Usually takes 4 or better roll to deal damage, but keep in mind we have the bonus rolls from the obelisk, so we actually need 3 or better. Okay, we deal 3 damage. He is down to 1 health and deals us 1 damage back, putting us down to 17. Let's roll again. A 5. He's dead, but here we see that there's additional rules. It says when discarded for any reason, we roll a d6, and on a roll of a 1, we place this card on top of the dungeon deck, aka the zombie comes back to life. We don't roll a 1, so that's great because now he gets to go to the discard pile. Alright, we have a sleeping golem. Let's hope he doesn't wake up. So we roll a d6, and on a roll of 4 or better, the golem comes to life, and then we treat it as a monster card. Unfortunately, it comes to life. We have 2 more chances to use the obelisk's power. So we'll actually just need 2 or better, and it only has 1 health. So hopefully we don't roll a 1 and take 3 damage. Roll a 3, perfect, and we got to save a bomb. We got the Sleeping Ancient coming back that we shuffled back to our library earlier. So let's hope we don't roll a 1. Perfect. Sleeping Ancient goes right into the discard pile. Next, we have Creeping Dread. We're starting to feel that the boss is wanting to fight us. So this one, we shuffle the dungeon deck and we place the boss card, or in case of multiple bosses, one of the boss cards, 7th from the top. So let's take our boss card out to the side, shuffle our deck, take the top 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we put the boss card 7th from the top. Crazed Villager appears. He doesn't look very well, so since we have 1 more roll, the obelisk would only need a 3 or better to kill him outright since he only has 1 health. And we finish off the crazy man running through the dungeon. Ooh, a supply room. That's really great. We get to roll D3 times on the item table. Again, D3 means we roll, and on a 1 or 2, we get 1 roll. On a 3 or 4, we get 2. And on a 5 or 6, we get 3. All right, we roll a 3, which means we get 2 rolls on the item table. Let's see what we get. We get a 3, which means 1 more potion. And then for our second roll, roll 1, so even more potions. So let's take advantage of that and use one of our potions before moving forward, just to bring us back up to full health, knowing that the boss card is looming. Oh no, we end up lost. It says shuffle D3 dungeon cards from the discard pile back into the dungeon deck. So again, we will go from the top. So let's see what we roll. So 2, which is 1, which in a way is good because it means we get to reshuffle the supply room back into the deck, but that also means that the boss card could potentially get further away. We might actually run through the full dungeon deck before we get to the boss. Should be quite the opposite of the first run. So let's see what comes next. We have an unassuming corridor that does nothing, which is good because while it does nothing, before we move to the next card, it would give us an opportunity to use items. Great, we found a shortcut, so we can look at the top 3 cards, and we can discard 2 of those as long as one of them is not the boss card. So we have an ogre, we definitely don't want him, a bound captive that we might free, and a masticator knight, which is also very scary. I think we're going to take our chances with freeing a bound captive. So we may use a key, and then if we do, the captive will gain us 5 life. Unfortunately, we don't have a key, which means this card gets discarded. Let's keep going. Oh no, we have a locked door. Unfortunately, we don't have any keys. We would be able to use a key to just discard a card. Otherwise, we reshuffle D3 dungeon cards from the discard pile back into the dungeon. So let's see how many we have to shuffle in. 2, so the top 2 would be the bound captive and the shortcut. Thankfully, these are both positive cards that we might want to run into later when we have keys. We're running really thin now, so I feel like the boss should run into us any moment now. But before that, we get to run into the supply room, which is great. Let's see how many items we get. We get a full 3 rolls, so let's see. Roll number 1, it's a 6. Great, we now have a key. Roll number 2 gets us a bomb, which is great to get rid of some monsters quickly. And the last roll gets us another bomb. We are really ready to not use our sword and just blow some monsters up. Okay, a strange fountain. Let's see how the water is. 4. Unfortunately, it's tainted. We take 2 damage and go to 18. Shortcut. Great, we're almost running out of cards, so this is really helpful. Let's see what 3 cards are on top. We have a safe room. We have a thiefling. And we have the boss card. Well, we can't discard a boss, so that means the other 2 cards go to the discard deck, and we know we're fighting the boss next. So, we're fighting the boss, but this time it's very different because we managed to find a lot of items on our way. So, instead of using a regular attack, for the first one, we'll just use a bomb and immediately deal 3 damage to him, bringing him down to 3 health. He hits us back for 3 damage, which is his strength, bringing us to 15. And then, because we're having such a glut of bombs, let's use another bomb to deal 3 more damage immediately, bring him down to 1. He hits us back for 3, bringing us down to 12. And then lastly, we'll use 1 more bomb to finish him off. And there you go. That's a full successful playthrough. And you can see in this the difference a good run versus a bad run, a short run versus a long run can make on the playing experience. So thanks for checking this out, and excited for what comes into the future, which hopefully will mean more expansions with more roles. We already have a couple of things we're thinking about, such as equipment, potential merchants where you could go and buy items, and a bunch of other crazy dungeon situations that are thematic to the game. Thanks for checking this out. Hope you enjoy.